It's finally here. The NBA Finals begin tonight, and we've got bold predictions and series predictions from our local experts across the network. Matt and Haize go rapid fire on the biggest remaining questions for the Thunder and the Pacers heading into Game 1. The Phoenix Suns hire a new coach as the owner wants more control over the day-to-day. Uh-oh. That's all today on Locked On NBA.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On NBA. Thanks so much for making us your first listen of the day. We are free. We are available wherever you get your podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. I'm Doug Branson, host of Locked On Hornets and your Shot Clock Sherpa, guiding you through the NBA's biggest stories every day with the help of Locked On's local experts, and I have two of the best with me as always. From the Locked On Nuggets podcast and senior NBA writer for the Action Network, it's Matt Moore. Matt, I thought we'd get our final pre-final show started by really riling up the crowd. Which fan base deserves a championship more, the Thunder fan base or the Pacers fan base?
Oh, this is a good one. I think it's the Pacers. Like, those fans have been they've stuck with this team for such a long time. That team has actually tried to win. No, like 10-year process building stuff, just wanted to win games. OKC would be a great story as well, but you got the whole Seattle thing there too. I love a good ABA team winning an NBA title. It's time for the Indiana Pacers.
All right, how about you, Haize from the Locked On Bulls podcast? Is Haize.
What's going on, everyone? This is going to be a final series in which you're going to see me go absolutely bat crap crazy. How about that?
Guano. Little guano finals. All right, which fan base? Thunder, Pacers, who deserves it more?
Pacers, for sure, Pacers.
Pacers were 26th in attendance. Shame on you, Pacers fans. Come on, get to the arena. Support that team. The Thunder, they're loud. I'm going to give it to the Thunder. All right. If you have a hot take about the NBA Finals, now is the time to get it off your chest before it can be tainted by the cold, hard reality of games actually being played. Jackson Gatlin of Locked On Rockets unleashed this bold strategy for the Indiana Pacers on the latest episode of our sister show, Locked On NBA Game Night. Let's take a listen.
I've seen so much being made about, how are the Pacers going to handle SGA? Can they slow SGA down? What's going to happen there? First off, I don't think it matters because I don't think they care if SGA goes off. And this is my bold take is I think that you look at how the Pacers have defended stars to this point in the postseason. They let Giannis get his, right? Giannis a monster in that series. Didn't matter. Donovan Mitchell was a monster for the Cavs. Didn't matter. They're going to let SGA get his. But what they're going to do defensively is they're going to stay home and stay disciplined on all the other guys on the floor, the supporting cast members for the OKC Thunder. And that's where I come away with this. My bold take is I don't think the OKC Thunder supporting cast is going to thrive in this series because I think the game plan for the Pacers is going to be, we're going to let SGA beat us.
Let SGA beat you. That's a bold strategy, Matt. Should the Pacers stay away from Shea, or should they try to disrupt the NBA's MVP?
No, man. I love this from Jackson. He's right, man. Let the guy go for 50. If you shut down everybody else on OKC, if you take care of the ball, the Thunder offense is not efficient enough to beat you. If you can run your stuff and don't turn the ball over, this is the number one half-court efficient offense left in the playoffs between these two teams. Second best overall on the Pacers. You can win this if you just don't let them overwhelm you with numbers. Make Shea be superhuman. Make Shea shoot mid-range jumpers all day long at an extremely efficient clip. Play a high drop, get a hand up. Don't just give him open looks, but don't freak out and blitz him because when he starts passing, and he's not a brilliant passer, but when he is getting those assist rack ups, that's what you can't survive. I love this from Jackson. I think he's right.
I think he's right too. This is one of the best ways that you can try to slow down stars is let them do them, stop everything else around them. Now, do the Pacers have enough to do that? Because this is still a talented OKC Thunder team. I think they do. I think when you look at the way that they've defended over the course of this playoffs, if they're locked in, and again, Rick Carlisle with his amazing scheming, I think that that's the perfect game plan. Because even if Shea goes off on 40 for you, he's not going to outscore the Indiana Pacers if you slowed everybody else down. So let Shea have himself a great series. And then slow everybody else down and get the dub. I think that's the best option that they have if they want to try to get some wins in the series.
I think what it also might do is allow the Indiana Pacers to keep playing at the pace that they want to, because if you're letting SGA get to his spots, if you're letting him get to the rim without contact, you're not fouling him as often, you're not stopping the game flow as often. I think that helps. The problem that I see with this, I think they could do that with the wing players. The question will be, could they do that with Chet? Or does this strategy turn Chet Holmgren into the NBA Finals MVP?
It's a good question. I don't know. Like, I've loved some of what I've done from Chet in terms of he always has these timely dunks, and he's really good at taking centers off the dribble, getting to the rack. But I just don't see him getting enough touches and having enough volume for him to really be able to take over to that point. But he can be, if it's like, Shea was good, and then Jalen, and if we're all like, who's really great in those series with Jalen and Chet? Like, I could definitely see that being the script even when Shea wins Finals MVP.
Haize, do you have any bold predictions you'd like to add to the heap?
Bold predictions? No, nothing too bold here. Other than it's going to be difficult for Shea to win Finals MVP when Alex Caruso does. But there's that.
That's a pretty. Well, hold on, you just buried it. That's a pretty bold prediction, Alex Caruso. What would the stat line? What would the narrative? What would the storyline need to be for Alex Caruso to steal Finals MVP?
If it happens, it's going to have to be a la Andre Iguodala in the Warriors' first Finals, right? It's going to have to be that he disturbs so much defensively. He makes his presence felt so much defensively while giving some solid. Like, I think if Alex Caruso plays the defense that we know he can all over the court, he can guard just about everyone. I even think he could get switched on Pascal sometimes. All he has to do is, I say, 12 points. If he does that, I think he gets some votes there.
500 to 1 at FanDuel, by the way, for Alex Caruso Finals MVP. I will go ahead and put this in on a community ticket for Locked On NBA Daily. My bold predictions: the average margin of victory for the Oklahoma City Thunder will be above 18.5 points in this series. It's going to be when they win, they are going to win by a lot, and when the Pacers win, they're going to win by a little. And so with that said, I think the Thunder margin of victory here is going to be absolutely massive in this one. The other one I think I'll say is I think that this will be more of a Cason Wallace emergent story Finals than maybe people are expecting, because boy, he's really good.
All right, let us know your bold takes, your bold predictions in the comments, youtube.com/@LockedOnNBA. Coming up, we will hear the actual series predictions from Matt Moore and Haize. The Suns, they hire a new coach. Our local host here on the Locked On NBA network of podcasts, they also have their series prediction. We'll hear from Rylan Stiles of Locked On Thunder. We'll hear from Tony East of Locked On Pacers. More finals coverage ahead. Locked On NBA. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs, they're at full throttle. As full as it gets, it's the NBA Finals, baby. Highlight dunks, wild momentum swings, and players showing up in huge moments. If you're locked into every game like we are here on Locked On NBA, why not turn that energy into a win? FanDuel makes it super easy to get in on the action. We've been tracking playoff performances all playoffs long and jumping into same-game parlays based on how things unfold. You can do the same thing for the NBA Finals. If I see a player heating up mid-game, I'm adding a prop on the fly. You can even combine live bets as the game changes. If you want to get your pregame bet in right now, it looks like the Indiana Pacers are a 9.5-point underdog to the Oklahoma City Thunder prior to Game 1. There are just more ways to play smart and cash in. And here's the best part. If you're new to FanDuel, now is the perfect time. Sign up, place your first $5 bet, and if it wins, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets. So why wait? Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. More Locked On NBA ahead. Thanks for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. Maybe it's your first watch on YouTube. I just checked the YouTube channel. It is our 4th birthday. on YouTube. We are celebrating the 4th anniversary of Locked On NBA being on YouTube, and you can get us the best present by going and subscribing today. So let's go into the local host predictions. We move from bold predictions to actual series predictions. Rylan Stiles of Locked On Thunder made a prediction alongside Joe Masato of the Oklahoman. Rylan has eloquently chronicled the Thunder's dominance this season, but I also feel like he plays it straight with his NBA predictions. Let's see what he thinks.
I'm going to make my prediction today. This is a surprise to even myself. I did not plan to reveal my prediction yet. But I'm going to do it with Joey Pods because Joey Pods just brings something out of you every time. And this time it's my predictions. And I'm going to say Thunder in 6. I think Thunder in 6. Here's why. You can poo-poo the Pacers all you want to. Joey hates Indiana. Make it a hashtag. The Pacers are going to have 2 electrifying shooting nights. Just absolutely red hot. And you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be flustered. You're going to have PTSD to PJ Washington, but they're going to light the Nets on fire twice in this series to win them 2 games. I think that the Thunder win will be close. It will be fun games. It will be competitive for Indiana. I'm not dismissing the Pacers at all, but 2 of them will just be like, okay, you're not winning whenever the Pacers are nailing a billion threes. And that's how the Pacers get their 2 wins this series. And the Thunder close it out in Indiana.
All right, so Rylan Stiles has the Thunder winning in 6, and a lot of our local hosts do. In fact, I did a informal poll, and it looks like 9 Locked On hosts picked the Thunder in 6, and 7 picked the Thunder in 5. But we had a few hosts, including Jackson Gatlin, who you heard from earlier. He picked the Pacers in 7, and 3 other hosts picked the Pacers in 6. So what say you on these local host predictions, Haize? What do you think, without revealing your prediction, because we're going to get to that a little bit later? What do you think about the majority of our local hosts gravitating towards Thunder in 6, Thunder in 5? Only 2 hosts, both of them on the Locked On Suns podcast, picked the Thunder sweep.
Yeah, I mean, picking a sweep, you would hope that it's not gonna be a sweep at this point in the series, right? So I think Thunder in 6 is probably the most likely scenario. Like it seems like that's what most people would pick because it's just a safe bet, right? Like you think about how the NBA is going to want this to go, you're not going to want it to be quick. So I think it's a safe bet to say in 6 games.
Milk toast.
Oh,
it's room temperature milk. Picking Thunder in 6. I'm gonna take the favorite in 6 games. You know what that? And like Rylan being all like, I'm ready to give my prediction. And you know what that is? That's him. He doesn't want to wind up looking like he was overconfident in OKC. I see through you, Rylan Stiles. I see through you. That's all that is. It's just trying to project this image of like, no, I respect the Thunder. Or the Pacers. I said that it would take it to 6 games. This is the longer the series goes, the more it goes towards Indiana. The shorter this series goes, the more it goes towards OKC. And we'll talk about it later, but one of the problems here is about not just the history behind this matchup, but also its series flow, right? I think all of us would be like, what game are the Pacers winning? We'd probably say game 3. Like that's like the one that you can kind of circle and be like, at the Fieldhouse, game 3, finals first in 25 years, mad environment. That's a really good spot. The question is really just like about these first 2 games. And that's the entire series will be decided in these first 2 games. Indiana's got to steal one in OKC in order to get this to 6.
Haize, I feel like the Pacers, here's my prediction. This is not necessarily a bold prediction. This is just a prediction. I think the Pacers do steal one in Oklahoma City, and then I think we all overreact to that. And then I think the Thunder take care of business, right? I think we're all going to get excited about the Pacers getting one in Oklahoma City, and then you'll start to see more people joining some of the Locked On Bucks and Jackson Gatlin of Locked On Rockets with picking the Pacers. But what do you think? If they steal one in Oklahoma City, does that signal to you a Pacers team getting back into the finals, or just the Thunder needing to figure some things out?
I'd probably lean towards the Thunder just needing to figure some things out just because how good the Thunder are. But I do think it is going to be key for the Pacers to steal one of these games in OKC. I think that if they want any chance to win the series, they have to steal one of these 2 games.
All right, the day before the finals is the last chance to get your predictions in. It's also the last day to settle any ifs, ands, or buts. Let's get our functions on and step into the if-then chamber for a rapid-fire pack of if-then questions on the NBA Finals. I'm going to give Matt and Haize 15 seconds each to answer the following questions. So get all of your pithiness together right now. Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right, Matt, you're up first. If blank becomes a storyline, then the Thunder will win the title.
Tyrese Halliburton. There's nobody that the internet likes to absolutely jump on more than Tyrese Halliburton. He's been underrated the last 2 seasons. He's been absolutely underrated even this season. We've seen it consistently. Every time he struggles, is Tyrese Halliburton a superstar? If he just gets shut down by this OKC defense, then that means the OKC is taking the main player out of the Pacers, and that means that they.
All right, Haize, if blank becomes a storyline, then the Thunder will win the title.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's dominance. If he transcends, people are not just talking about him like the MVP that he is, but that this is a superstar making series for him where, back to talking face of the league conversations, the Thunder will win the title.
That should be easy if the Pacers allow him to do so. Matt, if blank becomes a storyline, then the Pacers will win the NBA championship.
Mark Dagnall, young coach, hasn't had to really play from behind a whole lot in these playoffs, has had high ground for most of it. If we start talking about like Carlisle's actually putting the work to him, I think that the Pacers might actually have a chance to win the series. That to me is one of their biggest advantages is in coaching.
Hey, same question. If blank becomes a storyline, then the Indiana Pacers will win the NBA championship.
Same answer basically, but I'll say Rick Carlisle. If we're talking about Rick Carlisle and the masterclass that he's doing coaching-wise, then the Pacers are going to win the title. He's the biggest X factor for the Pacers in the series to me.
And I feel like Dagnall, there were some whispers, some rumblings that maybe he tightened up a little bit in that Wolves series. So we'll see if that becomes a storyline in the finals as well. If the Thunder win the title, Haize, then outside of your beloved 97 Bulls, it would be the best title run since blank. Have we seen a better title run other than the 97 Bulls if the Thunder win?
Golden State Warriors' first title. The year escapes me off the top of my head, but that was an amazing title run. That was a special, it was just fun to watch. So I say that it's the best since the Golden State Warriors' first title run.
Matt, same question.
2017 Warriors, first year with KD, they absolutely just dominated throughout the entirety of the NBA playoffs. Nobody could even touch them. 4-0, 4-0, 4-0, 4-1. That's an absolutely insane run. That's probably the best team that we've ever seen is that 2017 Warriors run.
All right, we'll start with you with this next one, Matt. If the Thunder win the title, if the Pacers win the title, then it would be the most improbable title run since blank.
95 Rockets. No team outside of the top 3 seeds win. Nobody does it. The Rockets in 95 were the last one to do it. So this would have to be up there. We just simply have not seen teams do this. Maybe you can say 04 Pistons, but that 04 Pistons team was legitimate as a top team in the East. So I would have to say that you have to go back to 95 Rockets. But man, 95 Rockets were repeat champions.
All right, Haize, can you beat 95 Rockets? Do you think it was the 04 Pistons and that strangling defense?
No, I won't say that. I'll say the Dallas Mavericks in 2011 over the Miami Heat. That was a special finals. They're underdogs in that one, and it's guess who was the coach of that one?
Ooh,
Rick Carlisle.
Rick Carlisle, that's right. Then Deshaun Stevenson was a big factor in that series. Was that correct?
That is correct. He also had an ATM in his living room.
Oh, cash money. I love it. All right, Haize, if you are a team outside of the playoff conversation right now, then blank, Thunder or Pacers, should be the team that you are emulating.
I think the Pacers because it's the one that's more realistic to emulate. The Thunder were able to do what they did because they traded some really great players at basically the height of their power and were able to stack picks. And they got Shai in one of those trades as well. I think the Pacers in the way that they did is the more realistic way to do it. And I think that that's what most teams aim for. You have a mix of some players that you drafted, you acquired some players in trades, and you just built this team really well from top to bottom, well coached and deep. I think the Pacers.
Pacers are the team build that you want, but the organization should be the Thunder. They do everything the right way. They're so considerate with absolutely everything that they do, from how they prepare the meals to the ball boys to arena staff to upper management to who they include in the room. All of this, they're so thorough, and the process is so good at every single level. You want your program to be as good as OKC's.
You guys crushed that. I mean, pithy to a P. You got every answer in under 15 seconds. Brilliant job. Is this the ultimate team building finals? Like, I can't think of a finals where I went, oh man, both teams masterfully building through draft, through trade, through using every available tool at their disposal, except for the gullibility of Nico Harrison.
Like, nothing easy here. Nothing easy. These teams had to do it the hard way. They would just sit around in nice weather and get handed superstars left and right. This should be an absolutely incredible story. This is what we should root for in the NBA.
Haize.
Agreed, 100%. This is definitely what we should root for. This is the ultimate team building NBA Finals. And shout out to Doug for just coining an amazing phrase there.
Thank you. Coming up on Locked On NBA, we're going to talk more about team building with the Phoenix Suns, who are continuing to build their front office, rebuild their front office, and now rebuild their bench. They've hired a head coach. We'll tell you who it is. And we will get our series predictions from Matt Moore and Haize on the other side. Locked On NBA. Thanks for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. The Phoenix Suns have tapped Cavs assistant Jordan Ott as their next head coach. Let's get the lowdown on the hire from the Locked On Suns podcast.
One thing that this guy does have that you and I had been hoping for, that we were kind of worried might not end up being the case, is he's an offensive guy. Everywhere he's gone, this dude has gotten big kudos from big names in this sport for his innovativeness, his creativity, player development on the offensive side of the ball, and we know that this team is going to need that to put Book in better positions to succeed, to help the young guys develop into better offensive players, whoever this roster ends up bringing in this summer, versus the past 2 years where it's just been slow, ISO, disgusting to watch basketball. I'm excited to see what he can do.
This idea that it's not change, it might just not be change for us. What Ishbia is doing now is something he should have done a couple years ago. He's bringing in his guys, man. And he's doing it now. And you know what? I like the hire. Might have not been my first choice. But like that's my ultimate first reaction to it is I think he's going to be a good head coach here.
I knew that would make Matt Moore's eyes light up. That last dismount there by Ben Garcia. We've got some reporting on Ishbia that I want to get to in a minute. Sort of a low bar there set by Brendan Clean for Jordan Ott. Just make the basketball not disgusting to watch. Matt, we'll start with you. Did the Phoenix Suns find the right guy, or did they just find another person with Michigan State or State of Michigan ties to be a yes man for Matt Ishbia?
We have no idea. Anyone that thinks that they know is wrong. Everyone in Phoenix will be like, oh yeah, he's the right guy. This is going to work. Because you want to believe it's hopium, and everybody outside will be like, you just hired him because the Michigan State thing. We don't know. Like, we don't know anything. We don't know. Like, we do not get enough access to assistant coaches in the NBA to have really good ideas of who they are. Like, this is a problem in the league. Whereas in the NFL, you talk to defensive and offensive coordinators consistently throughout the year. Reporters don't get almost any access to assistant coaches throughout the NBA season. So we don't really know these guys. Jordan Ott could be the next genius. He could be the next Phil Jackson. He could be fine. He could be the next Adrian Griffin. There's so many ways that this can go. I will say, as we'll talk about, don't love the framing of that process as like, the good thing is Ishbia's got his guys. Yikes.
There's, like, to Matt's point, there's no way that we could know. Like, it's just a bunch of hope right now. I would say this. I also hope that he's there because he's walking into one of the most difficult situations in basketball. You have no clarity on your roster. You have no clarity on your future. You're in the second tax apron. You don't have a lot of draft picks, and your franchise has made a lot of stupid decisions. You are the fourth new coach that's going to start off a season with them for 4 straight years. Like, it's that part of it. So I hope they got the right coach, but the question is, are they going to start being the right franchise? Because it can't be all the coaches. It couldn't have been every single one of them. So I get it that the Suns went out and hired a guy with the Cavs, and he's worked behind Budenholzer. He's worked behind Atkinson. So he comes from a good coaching tree there, and I hope that he is really good. But my bigger question isn't if you got the right coach, is what are you going to do with this team? Because your franchise is in a place right now where you're lower than the rings of hell. I don't even know where you're at that point in time. Like, you're lower than that, though.
Lower than the rings of hell. Yeah, I don't know if you could get much lower than that. I think it would be odd if they had they brought in like 9 or 10 guys, and a lot of them respected Sean Sweeney of the Mavericks. You've got Chris Quinn of Miami. They brought in a lot of people to interview. It would be odd to go through that process if it were all predetermined. But, you know, I don't put it past very, very wealthy people to do odd things. But I think you're right. We have to wait and see. We do have some more reporting on Matt Ishbia, the aforementioned very wealthy guy. And this comes from Gerald Bourget writing this for PHNX. Quote, Ishbia emailed the Suns basketball operations team internally on Wednesday, taking accountability for not doing enough to establish a culture and identity in Phoenix. The Suns owner stated that he had tried, quote, running the typical NBA owner playbook of hiring experts, signing checks, and getting out of the way, unquote. But no one was happy with the outcome. Now, despite insisting that he is not reviewing film, designing offenses, or running the draft room, Ishbia intends to be, quote, extremely active in the decisions and management, unquote. Matt, how should Phoenix fans feel about all of that?
Doomed. You are doomed. This is not good. This is not, look, Cuban was really good at this, about caring enough to be in these conversations and keeping the energy up. But like, he had trusted, respected, very good, experienced NBA guys to do the work. The Suns do not. This is terrifying if I am a Suns fan. Like, this is horrible. He comes in and immediately he trades for Kevin Durant. Then immediately they go after a third star instead of trying to aim for more depth. Like, you're telling me none of those were you, man? None of those that they were just making this up as they were going, and you wanted a more balanced, reasonable approach. This is horrifying. It's good to have an owner who cares, okay? But there's got to be a balance here. And anytime that you start hearing extremely active in the decisions and management, that gets to where things get interfered with based off of personal preferences, like where guys went to college. I am concerned, Haize.
What's the most successful version of a very involved owner have we seen? Is it Cuban?
Yeah, it's Cuban.
It's Cuban, right? Like that's
it's a disaster.
Yeah, other than that, this is bad. This is very bad. Typically, when you have an owner that is that involved, somebody coming from the Chicago Bulls franchise, it's better when Jerry Reinsdorf is hands off. That just is what it is. I'm a Sox fan. I'm a Bulls fan. The moment Jerry gets too involved, things get worse than what they already were. So I don't know a world in which this actually works out in the best interest of the team. I guess you just better hope that Michigan and Michigan State has a lot of really good prospects coming up in the draft in the next couple of years.
To me, one of the dangers of a very involved owner is that it doesn't turn into immediate success, and then that owner gets tired of playing with that toy. I feel like that's what happened a lot in Charlotte with Michael Jordan. He did not find success in the first 4 or 5 years of running that franchise from both a front office and then into ownership. And then I think eventually he was done with it. He wanted to go to another sport, NASCAR, and try to be a success there, because a lot of these people got to where they were and got all that money because they were successful, and they don't like not being successful. And so I think the danger then is like, what does that look like? Because the other side of it is, we talk about Cuban with the Mavericks, but the other side of the coin is you have a situation like Dumont now in Dallas, who hands the entire decision-making process to someone that is not fully invested because they are just an employee. And then you get decisions like the Luka decision in Dallas. So both sides of that can be very difficult.
I agree.
All right, let's see if you agree on your finals predictions. For equal time purposes, though, first, because I think it's a great way to put a bow on all of our pre-finals coverage, let's hear one more time from the great Tony East of Locked On Pacers.
Finally, the finals. Will the Pacers do better than their first finals appearance? They're on the doorstep of their first championship, but they got to win 4 more times against a 68-win team that has a plus 11 playoff net rating. People have counted them out in every series, and they've won all 3 so far. Can they do it again? They believe in themselves more than anyone. Their style is so demanding to play against that it's beaten 3 teams. Can it beat a 4th? They find out if they can do that on the journey tonight.
Make sure to check out Locked On Thunder, Locked On Pacers, Locked On NBA Game Night. We'll be recapping the game tonight, but now it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for, the experts here on this show, Matt Moore, Haize. It's time to make your official finals prediction. Haize, we're going to start with you. Give me the team, give me the games, and then give me the why.
I am going to go with the OKC Thunder in 5. And I think it just makes the most sense. I know, I see the Pacers getting the game in there, and it's going to be great, and we're going to overanalyze it. But the Thunder are just so good in multiple facets of the game. I hope the Pacers win this series. I honestly do. But I think that the Thunder are just too good, too sound. They do too much. They're too good at taking what you do best away from you, and they have so many different looks that they can throw at you. I'll say the Thunder in 5.
93% of the NBA Finals winners in the last 40 years have been a 40-20 team, 40 wins before 20 losses. OKC checks that box. Only 2 teams outside of the top 3 seeds have won the NBA title. That's the 95 Rockets and 69 Celtics. The Thunder are a 1 seed. How about this one? Since 2003, home teams in game 1 of the finals are 19-3 straight up. If you're already up on the Pacers, that's a bad script for them, trying to dig out of that hole. They're not going to be able to take both at home, which means that they're going to have to take game 2, which I think is a very tough environment. I'm with Haize on this one. I will actually go further because Haize took my pick, and I will go exact outcome here. Win, win, loss, win, win, Thunder in 5.
Matt, you could have done the most hilarious thing possible by picking the Pacers after you read all of those stats.
That would have been
But
classic.
you didn't. You selected the Thunder, so you went Thunder win the first 2 games, Pacers take game 3, and then the Thunder finish it off in 2. So that, and this is something that bothers me a little bit. I think we talk about gentleman sweeps, and I think people confuse that with just a team that is a favorite winning in 5. But that's not my definition of a gentleman sweep. My definition is you win the first 3, you lose game 4, and then you win game 5. Haize, are you predicting a gentleman's sweep, or do you have it, as Matt does, 2 games for the Thunder, 1 for the Pacers, and then the Thunder finish off the next 2?
No, I got 1 for the OKC Thunder, 1 for the Pacers, next 3 for the Thunder.
All right, I'll give my prediction very quickly. I also have the Thunder in 5. I have the Pacers winning game 1, and then the Thunder running the table.
The reverse sweep. Wow.
I think the Pacers catch them a little bit off guard, as they've tended to do this really, the back half of the regular season and into the playoffs. And then the Thunder, they settle down, they remember who they are and how dominant they've been, and they win the NBA Finals in 5. Let us know your predictions on YouTube, youtube.com/@LockedOnNBA. If you like what you heard today, subscribe to Locked On NBA wherever you get podcasts, including YouTube. Thanks to Matt and Haize for their expertise every day. Thank you for making Locked On NBA your first listen. For your second listen, check out Locked On NBA Big Board. NBA draft expert Rafael Barlow reacts to every workout, interview, and rumor leading up to the NBA draft. I can't wait to talk more about that on this show. Find Locked On NBA Big Board on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Enjoy our beautiful game tonight at its most beautiful. Be kind to each other. We're going to see you right back here tomorrow to recap it on Locked On NBA.